Art. Possibly the most important thing in society. It can be anything from paintings, music, movies, or just someone's opinion and being a poet or writer. But what makes art so unique is it's ever evolving. It's constantly interchanging. And because of this, art changes with society and is not hindered by societal norms. But what about the individuals, the artists, the people who make the art and spread it out into the ether? Are they held to the same scrutiny that you or I would be? Are they to the same level or degree? And if such, does our opinion of their actions as individuals subsequently affect their artwork for future or current generations? The true question is, can you separate the art from the artist? In order to tackle this question, we have to first establish something. When people become celebrities, when people become public figures, and when people become well-known, they are not just an everyday person. They are not the same as you or I, be it social clout, status, money, fame, or power. And in order to survive, they create 3 separate masks, 3 versions of themselves. Now, depending on the individual, it can all be similar or all be vastly different. And because of these 3 masks, we don't know which one is the true version of the individual. So while we consume the artwork, question which version made the piece and which version do we connect with? The first mask is, of course, the artist, the one who created the artwork. It could be a painter, it could be the music persona. All famous musicians generally have a stage name, a persona that they refer to themselves as, but it's not quite the real name. It could be their real name, but practically is different from who they really are. Sort of creating a cape, a superhero alter ego, as to not be seen as a normal person, putting themselves on a level of superiority, not necessarily because they think they're better than you, but more because they want to be better than themselves. This is the version that we are first introduced to when we see a piece of art. The second mask is the celebrity. This is the version that is in the public eye, not there to necessarily show off their artwork, but more to show off the attempt at the artist version, to get the public close enough, but not completely, to understanding who the person is. In the recording booth, they don't have to put on this angle, they don't have to put on this caricature. It's just a booth, them, their voice, and that's it. But when they're out in the public, they have to exude this larger than life persona, this creative nature of an aura around them that people are both intimidated and enraptured by. This is what the celebrity has become. With celebrity culture, the artist and the celebrity do not have to be mutually exclusive. This is all the more relevant as we get to the third mask. The rarest and most unnerving version is the true self, the human mask. For celebrity, before artist, we are each individuals, guilty of both good and bad, with those thoughts intertwining and enrapturing both the celebrity and artist culture. A lot of the times, the balancing of these acts can be overwhelming. A perfect example of the 3 masks would be Michael Jackson. There's the artist who we see in the recording studio coming up with the beats and going on stage performing, separated by a curtain of professionalism and showmanship. Then there's the celebrity mask, the version that he feels that he needs to amplify, he needs to show off, why he wore such sparkly outfits, he dressed the way he wanted to be exorbitant, he wanted to be different, he wanted to be changing, always constantly evolving, putting on a pressure of himself that no one really quite understood. But the few that ever saw was the human version of it, not the celebrity, not the artist, the real Michael Jackson. Few people actually experienced who he really was. And when things went awry within his career, which have stigmatized his career to this very day, the people that idolized the artist and celebrity try to paint that as the human version. But that isn't the version that he truly was, because we don't know that version. Only a select few do. Another version would be a Chris Benoit, one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. He constantly had to go on the road, doing things that no one else could do in the ring, creating memorable moments, getting multiple championships, and just becoming this icon in the wrestling world. He'd even have times where he got to meet other people, he got to interact with fans, he got to do different things and go on the road. And then there was the real him, the him behind closed doors, the him with people. And all the while, these three would constantly battle each other until what happened inevitably happened. And even the people that knew the real him didn't really understand why what happened. These things, these three masks are constantly juggling with each major celebrity, for better or worse. This all brings a different head to things, which comes down to the point of knowing versus unknowing. Choosing to dig deeper or choosing to live in blissful ignorance. Some people can do both. Some people can choose to just enjoy something for what it is and not dig any deeper. And some of us do dig deeper. We need to know the answers. We want to know to understand the full scope of everything. But the problem is much like all knowledge, once you learn something, you can't unlearn it. Those skeletons do not go back into the closet. They come out, and they stay out. We look at people like a Bill Cosby, who was so integral to all of pop culture, from the 60s all the way to the early 90s. And now, knowing what we do, it makes it more difficult to enjoy anything involving him, which is very difficult considering he was such a gigantic part of it. Some of us, and I'm sure a lot of us do, wish that we could unknow that knowledge. When we feel a connection to these individuals, even though it's not the real them, not the human mask, it's the artist, it's the celebrity, we feel a resonance of them as an individual, and because of that, we feel betrayed. We feel heartbroken because we feel that we never really knew them at all. So, can you separate the art from the artist? I think keeping into account the three masks principle and the idea that no one celebrity is who they 100% say they are, and knowing that people are faulty, people are flawed. If the art can stand on its own, regardless of controversy, then yes. But it does create an asterisk, create a divide for people, and that's understandable. Both of those are justifiable responses. You can either pretend that nothing is wrong and everything is fine, or it can be so damning that you're not able to even enjoy it in the first place. And you're not even sure if you should support the person or if you should just pretend that nothing's wrong. Ultimately, it's very difficult to make a definitive decision when it comes to this sort of thing, because unlike a lot of other things, artistry helps us define ourselves. And because of that, when the art isn't what we thought it was, or isn't supportable, or isn't a part of who we really are, then can we morally, ethically, and personally stay behind it? These are questions that are left up to an individual's choices and feelings about art. But as long as you're willing to explore different forms of art, your mind can expand more. Your feelings can expand more, and you can experience things from a different perspective, for better or worse. Deciding to expand your mind into the support of the arts is a great, great thing. But deciding to back behind the artists themselves perhaps should be a little more cautious. But in the end, these aren't answers, they're hypotheticals.
What's so funny?
Just think of a joke.
Do you want to tell it to me?